Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of MTG Study Hall Quarantine Edition. I am your host, Brett, and I am joined by my co-hosts, JC, Lily, and Dave. We also have Tam on mic, and Tam has got a little bit of bookkeeping to take care of before we launch into the show.
Oh, thanks, Brett. If you like this show, you can go out and support us on patreon.com/TCG University to get the live ad-free version of the podcast, as well as a bunch of other content, just like all these awesome people. Addie, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albino, Bryce Rassack, Chris Miner, Clay Cardwell, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, John Stone, Justin Farsh, Justin Hobbs, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Kieran Vision, Lucinda Ludica, Okemawa, Paul Casagrande, Peyton Kiker, Samantha Stevens, the baddest bitch around, Sean O'Brien, Teodoro Ruiz, and Tyler Zane Pease. Thank you so much, you guys, for going out and supporting out on Patreon. But if you don't want to support out there and you're totally fine with ads, you can catch the whole show live on youtube.com/TCG University, as well as a bunch of other matches and deck profiles for a ton of other games, as well as live content on twitch.tv/TCG University. Make sure you go out, follow, subscribe, do all the things you got to do on all the different social media platforms, as well as check us out on iTunes if you want to just listen to us in your car. That would be really rad. Lastly, big shout out to our sponsors: Nuclear Inked Custom Tattoo and Skate Shop, Cards Custom Build, Inked Gaming, and Dex Protection. But we'll talk about those more later.
Thank you so much, Tam. And we just mentioned that pre-show. If you want to check out the pre-show with that subscription on the Patreon, we only talked about Star Trek for about half of the pre-show, so not the entire time like last week. So yeah, let's get into things. We have a lot to talk about. Before we do, JC, what have you been doing in Magic this past week?
Oh, not too much. I signed up for an open beta, closed beta. I'm not sure of the new Magic MMO that's coming out. Other than that, just looking over some previews, looking over Jumpstart, things of that nature. So,
okay, Lily, what have you been doing?
Losing my mind over Pretty Sphinx Ladies. That actually playing a lot of arena, grinding. Like, I'm so close to level 80. It's ridiculous, and got like 6 days left in the season. I'm pretty sure I'll get it, even if I don't like put any gems into it. But
oh, good. All right, and Dave, what have you been doing?
Tilting off like super hard. Like we with the rules change and the meta shifting back to like people playing real decks. Loris isn't just like accidentally winning games anymore, and I hate the cycling deck. I hate playing against it. I hate playing it. I hate every aspect of it. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Am I wrong? Do you think isn't there some pretty sweet graveyard hate? Well,
I've been playing best of one though. It's the problem.
Well, just switching to mono green and Scavenging Ooze, because I don't think that deck can answer a resolved Scavenging Ooze like at all.
What, the cycling deck?
Yeah.
You have to make a big fox. I think you either need to make a big fox or you need to go wide with the 3/1.
Well, but you can start eating the stuff that Zenith Flare cares about.
Yeah, Zenith Flare becomes a mostly dead card, but you can still like have the fox and the 1/1 soldiers and just try and go wide.
Okay, I feel like I'm hoping there's some kind of weird Jundi Scavenging Ooze deck, just because I like having Junder on. But anyway, let's talk about new cards. Let's actually start with the topic. Really quickly, what have I been doing? A lot of Commander, because I have 4 people in my house who play Paper Commander. So, my roommate Dan has been playing joined us and playing Galta, and I got to be a terrible human being the other day and Mind Slaver. Well, I used Emrakul, but took control of Dan's turn and got Galta permanently removed from the game because I got really tired of getting killed by Galta turn 1. So I did that, which I enjoy doing, but is kind of mean. But we've had some good commandering. Played a little arena, did Brawl with Brett yesterday. And mostly I'm excited for the new cards. A week from today, the new set will be out. So I'm very, very excited for that. I think, right? I'm not crazy? Yeah. A week from today.
Oh, so Jesus, that's fast.
Yeah.
That's so fast?
No, it's just been like 2 months of quarantine.
Time has no concept for me anymore. I have no concept of time. That's the way to say that.
And Ikoria was weirdly delayed, so maybe it is. I think it is a little.
Sorry, 3 months of quarantine, but like Ikoria's already been out for like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
The paper release was weird, so yeah. I mean, it does feel a little soon, but yeah, time's weird right now. But so we talked a little bit about the new core set last week, and this week we are going to talk about Jumpstart. So we are in the midst of Jumpstart previews. They've been very condensed. So yesterday, Wednesday, today recording, and then tomorrow we will have all of the Jumpstart spoilers. So we've gotten a ton of crazy new reprints and new cards. So as of today and yesterday, for those of you who don't know, Jumpstart was going to be coming out the same time as the core set. It got delayed a little bit due to COVID, so it's coming out, I think, around the 16th of next. I think it's gonna be out next month. So middle of next month, we can find the actual date. But the idea of it is it's 20 card packs that you buy 2 of and you shuffle together for a little instant seal decks. All the packs are themed, and so you might get, we have cat, dog themes, the 5 core set planeswalker themes, some weird ones like doctor, archaeology, flying, walls, unicorns. So some goblins, elves, some expected themes, some wacky themes, and
Well
it looks
read.
well read. And each of these packs will have a themed basic land, and some of the lands are awesome. So one of my new favorite cards is Tiny Bones. It's like a mono black discard commander that is a tiny skeleton who I didn't even consider this till Lily pointed it out on my stream yesterday, is likely the skeleton of a child, but could also be the skeleton of just a small thing like a goblin or something.
Or a small human that isn't a child.
True. So there's a lot of options, but I'm so excited for Tiny Bones. We're getting Oracle of Muldai. What are some of the other Muldaya? Yes. What are some of the other crazy reprints we're getting?
Oh, we're getting the Bogbrew Witch among the other things too.
Yes, Bogbrew Witch, and I think the Newt Cauldron.
Yeah, so we're getting all of it. That's kind of cool. Like I always tried that in draft, I never got it. So
Gingerbread's coming back.
Ristic Study's a big reprint.
Ristic Study, Ghoul Caller Gisa, that card was up to like $15-20. So
it was only from the mono black commander decks from a few years ago.
We also got the mono green Savala. We have a new unicorn legend, a green white unicorn. Well, it's a mono white unicorn.
My favorite card.
I hate
Riptide Lab, which I don't know if that's still like a whole bunch of money.
The bestest boy Isamaru is getting a reprint
as a dog.
As a dog.
No, so yeah, we have have you seen the dog themed land, JC?
I haven't. I saw the Heath lands though.
I thought it was just animal themed because it does dogs, and I thought a few other things too, like cats and.
No, so there's the core set land that cares about different animals. The dog Jumpstart packs basic land is a plains with a dog on it.
Oh God, I'm gonna show that on. Hold on.
I mean, that's great, but it's not Book Island.
Book Island is awesome. Have you seen Phyrexian Swamp that is written in Phyrexian?
What?
Yeah.
About to.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let the viewers know that there was a great injustice done. The title of this episode that I initially pitched, that was shot down by the higher ups here at TCGU, was
the dean.
The dean of TCG University. Old Man Bordeaux wouldn't let us have the title that I wanted, which was Jumpstart is the best idea Wizards has had in a long time. And if you disagree, you're a stupid doo-doo head, and I hate you.
So
because
this is amazing.
Is awesome.
Wait, do we have a spoiler from the Phyrexian Jumpstart one yet?
I think we're getting some. Sheldred is, I think, the mythic from it.
So were we not getting like the Phyrexian text Elish Norn in this?
I don't think we're getting that.
That feels some degree of greedy, like, and I want it. I want it real bad. But yeah,
because that's a judge foil, I think, right?
Oh
I mean, but it wouldn't be a foil, obviously.
So it'd be more valuable.
It's not a foil. It's fine. Just give it to us.
Also,
I'm on. Yeah.
Just give us Phyrexian text of all the Praetors.
Hear me out. When we return to Phyrexian, I don't think they should print it in any other language. And I don't think they should tell us what the cards do.
Yes.
Only for Phyrexian.
I'd be down.
As my eyes roll back into my skull and I start speaking in tongue. Yeah, Dave won the pre-release. It was pretty cool. He ascended into the air and then blood just came out from every orifice.
He was weeping blood. It was
don't
incredible.
Be absurd. Yeah.
But this Jumpstart seems like, I was talking about this a little on my stream yesterday. I don't think there's ever been a product I'm more excited to try to get people playing Magic with. Because like a dual deck, it combines the right thing, because I think part of what makes Magic awesome, like the booster packs are part of what makes Magic exciting. Like I like booster packs, and I like the idea that some of these are more rare than others. So like when somebody gets this, they might open it up, and if they just get 2 cool themes, they don't know any better. But if they get the Planeswalker themes and they get a crazy cool looking Planeswalker, that is such an exciting moment. And you shuffle these together. So I don't know the exact price on these, but I don't think they're that much more expensive than a regular pack. So my understanding is for $20, you can get at least $20 tax included, or less. You can get 4 of these packs, sit down with someone who's brand spanking new to the game, and teach them. And it's just really, like, I'm so excited. Like, there's finally a product that is like, hello, new player. He combines all of the intro products they've done, but the cards aren't all bad, and there's interesting, cool things you can get, and there's cool ways to pivot right into Commander. Mm-hmm. And JC, you were in the pre-show chat. We're talking, like, in the pre-show chat. We're asking, so about like legality on it. So some of the cards are from the core set, and those cards will have the core set symbol and will just be obviously playable in standard. The other cards in it do not have to be standard legal, and are only the new cards and the reprints are only legal in Eternal formats and Commander, Vintage, Legacy. So like we're getting Reanimate in one of these. So like we're getting some really cool cards. And then most of the cards will be added. You will be able to play Jumpstart on Arena. Most of the cards will be added to Historic. Well, all of the cards on Arena Jumpstart will be added. They are tweaking a couple of them for power level reasons, because they don't want Lightning Bolt, Reanimate, and a few other cards in Historic.
They don't want Reanimate in Historic. What's that? It's going to make a degenerate or something?
Historic's actually... Excuse me. Historic's pretty balanced right now. I've actually been mostly playing Historic over Standard. I like Historic.
Is Platinum Angel the best thing that you can reanimate right now in Historic?
It probably... No, there's got to be something better, right?
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know.
Children?
Yeah, like... Shit.
Don't
they play Children in the Legacy version? And
Ulamog would be the best thing you could probably reanimate.
That's true.
Ceaseless Hunger?
The one that doesn't shuffle back in.
Yeah. Like you don't get the cast trigger though.
You do get like an indestructible 10/10 who exiles 20 cards from the top of their library when he attacks.
You still have to untap and attack with it, and you have to attack with it. Like I guess 2 times, 3 times, 3 times,
2 or 3. A turn 2 Ulamog would wrap the game up pretty quick.
It should. It like I remember turn 4 Ulamog's being a big deal, but you were casting him at that point, so.
I mean, granted, the cast triggers like half of the appeal, but
like, the fact that you have to burn 2 counterspells against that, or at least you did back when you had Disallow, and it forced you to play bad cards that, like, because honestly, at that time, Edict effects were not good. To the Slaughter was not a good card, but you kind of had to play it if you're like playing the shitty rock deck I was playing. So, I
mean, we do have Whirlwind Denial, which is really good against cast triggers.
Yeah, which is fair. That would have been good against it.
The 6 mana. That card. I'm hoping
we're getting is the 3 mana.
Oh no! Oh, I was thinking. Oh, you're right. Whirlwind. I was thinking of the new 6 mana. Pick 5 things. That thing is cool. a really good. That's a really good thing against Eldrazi. Because you get to counter the creature and the cast trigger. But anyway, Jumpstart. So this thing is just crammed. So I'm obviously, I don't know. I think this is like the best, one of the products I'm most excited for. And Wizards has shown like, and this, I had decided how awesome this was and that I was in love with it. And I was going to buy at least 2 boxes before I saw half the reprints we got today. And the stuff I've seen today is absolutely insane. And I mean, I think it's very cool. Like, and this is there's no non-core set keywords on any of these cards either. Which is really cool. I think that's what I heard. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but like I think it goes to show several things. 1, how much cool stuff you can do without having to have a bunch of new mechanics. 2, that reprint sets can be really, really, really exciting, and that you should do more of them. And those are the 2 things. And I set it up like there was a 3rd thing, but those are the 2.
Well, I mean, the 3rd thing is like getting these older, powerful cards into the hands of new players. I think is a good thing on the whole. Like just being like, hey, new player product. Also, there's valuable things in it. You're going to be opening this. This is a fun product that you want to open. Here's some things that older players are going to trade a lot for, if trading is still a thing. If the entire trading part of the TCG has not dried up because of the plague.
Oh, I think it'll turn back. And go ahead, Dave.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like that's always a catch-22 though, as far as like releasing these starter products that have highly sought after cards. A lot of the time, from what I've seen, you'll have some of the more experienced players or some of the more competitive ones buying up a lot of these because like Ristic Study, that one you can trade that at a premium all day long. And if this stuff doesn't actually get in the hands of new players, it kind of doesn't have the same impact that you'd want.
And I think the hope. Oh, go ahead, Lily.
This isn't like a limited print product, right?
I don't think so. My understanding, this is one of their new intro products they're releasing right by the core set. They should print a shit ton of this, and
like,
they better.
As long as they print it more than they do like the commander decks, because there's always a problem, like because there's always the good commander deck, and you can never fucking find that because someone's always going to buy them out.
They've gotten a little better about those. In recent years, the commander decks have stuck around a bit longer. I think hopefully they're starting to print these products to actual demand. And so, yeah, my hope is that this will be available enough. And it should just lower prices because all these packs are going to have these lands, and those basic lands are going to, so like the Phyrexian one, those are going to get kind of, the ones with cats and dogs on them, those are going to be pricey. Those are going to be lands that are worth a few bucks. I mean, like
Godzilla land pricey.
They might be $5-6 or more. Like there are people like me who are going to be like, I want my entire mono black commander deck in that Phyrexian land. So like that's going to be a pricey proposition to do.
That's going to be like $80-$90.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'd say let's all say it together, but I still have all these unglued lands that are just better. These are cool. Right? Like,
I don't know. This set has some of the best lands I've seen. These are by far my favorite swamps. They're just really colorful swamps, and I really like them. They have Phyrexian Tower, and just a lot of the dual lands that they're printing are actually really cool.
Have you seen the planes?
Just the art are
pretty sweet.
Did you see the planes? That is the reflection in the like armor.
Yeah,
it's like a helmet, and like the whole planes is just reflecting off the helmet. Like it's such a cool thing.
So Dave, one thing. I hate the unglued land art. I hate the like thick brown border. Weird filigree thing around it. I hate it.
Why must you hurt me so?
I like the
tacky and old.
It's not tacky. It is not tacky. I take offense to that. That is not okay.
I like the third unset. The third unset where it's no border at all are the ones I have in my
those are fine. But like half of the surface area, maybe a third of the surface area of this card is this weird freaking brown texture.
Yeah. There's a certain nostalgia factor, a certain je ne sais quoi. Like I know it's not for everyone.
Yeah, just definitely using that phrase.
It is definitely for me.
I think it's fair. No, and it's got a very much pre-modern frame feel to it. So I feel you. And I personally enjoy the more modern sci-fi-ier borders, but I mean we're literally discussing. I can speak. We are literally discussing land border aesthetics, so there's not a right answer here.
Oh, that is completely. I think it's subjective.
The unhinged ones were really good.
Yeah, the unhinged ones were great. Like anything that John Avon does is fantastic. He's just really really good. And if I remember right, he did all of the lands for unhinged.
Yeah,
I think so.
The unstable ones.
Sorry, no, unstable. Unhinged. Unhinged. That's what I was thinking. Damn.
I think he did both. I think they brought him back to do the new one.
Probably.
And even the unsanctioned ones were pretty good, but I do not like the unglued ones. I don't know.
Like I could see. I definitely see the appeal. It feels like the unsanctioned ones were somewhere between the unglued and unstable.
Look at that swamp. That swamp is that's the discard deck swamp.
That's a fucking hand. That's so dope.
It's so cool.
See what they did there.
Hand of Death. Are you guys familiar with the old Portal card, Hand of Death?
No.
It destroys a creature unless it has a black mana symbol at its casting cost.
Oh God.
Portal's a dope set. It's so cool.
Oh Lord.
That's the zombie one. This is the best. I think this is hands down the best intro set Wizards has ever done.
Is that an eyeball in that swamp with a bunch of
hands and eyeballs? Yeah, that's the witch one. I'm pretty sure.
I need to stop like blowing through the lands and just like actually appreciate some of this artwork.
The zombie one was a bunch of undead climbing up from like a graveyard with like a dilapidated church in the back.
And it looked like it was just a giant eyeball and like
that's
trees. I thought they were just like arm trees.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not
oh
my
yeah,
fault.
that's the Windstar
Or
one.
that's the which one?
It's like we're literally talking, and like they're getting us excited about normal border basic lands. Like we're literally
Right.
sitting here raving about basic. Wizards has done a very good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, I'd say that overall, I think this product is going to be a hit.
Or like the Forest of the Spears.
Forest of Spears.
The elf one.
Show me. I guess I can look. I can look myself. It's
So
not cool to do that.
You were sorry, Dave. You were saying.
No, I said it. It's just I think this is a hit. Oh yeah, this is dope.
Let me run through this. So, like Craterhoof Behemoth. Allosaurus Shepherd is a new card. It's a 1/1 elf shaman for 1 green that can't be countered. Green spells you control can't be countered, and you can pay 6 until the end of turn. Elf creatures you control have base power and toughness 5/5 and become dinosaurs into their addition in addition to their other types. Like that might be legacy elves playable. Maybe I don't know, but
because I don't think you normally. I think you want to. I was gonna say I don't think you want to have anything that's like too much. Like, well, we have Craterhoof Behemoth in that deck, but it's been a while since I've played Legacy Elves. Which one did you say again?
So that's a new one. That's called Allosaurus Shepherd. But we've got. Let me see what else we got.
It's a sideboard card. I think that's an alternate win condition. I don't think you want to start it, but I think you want to board into that. I like that better than Vexing Shusher.
Yeah, it feels really good against the control.
It's probably not as good as Cavern of Souls. But I think that...
I mean, we're going to be running Cavern of Souls, too.
Yeah, we're playing 4 of that card. Right. Easy.
So running 2 more can't be countered. So, okay, they're reprinting Phyrexian Tower, Rise of the Dark Realms.
Because that was a rare that hadn't been reprinted from...
No, Phyrexian Tower got reprinted in one of the not Modern Horizons, because Modern Horizons was all new cards, right?
It was one of the master sets.
Okay, because I thought the old rule for that is if it were a rare from before Marcadian Masks block and they didn't reprint it within 2 years, it was on the reserve list.
Well, Phyrexian Tower is not from before Masks, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's from Saga. It was part of the cycle. It's the same cycle as Lariat Academy and Guy's Cradle.
40% of the rares, I think.
Yeah, it must have been one of the ones they left off.
Dave, you and everyone else in the thread thought it was on the reserve list, so you are not alone in that. I don't know.
Honestly, just as a quick aside, I think that they have made modifications to the reserve list and not made it and not advertised that, because I think there are a lot of things that were at one point or should have been that they just didn't put on there, like show and tell and sneak attack.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in it, and also as a historic player, we're getting Grim Lavamancer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's gonna really make an archetype super good and historic.
Without fetch lands, I don't think it's amazing, but it's still really good.
Yeah, and the longer it goes on, we have cycling lands. So we have cycling lands, and we have Fabled Passage.
Yeah, Fabling. I don't know if I necessarily want to play Lavamancer in a deck that I'm playing Fabled Passage in, but if the format's slow enough, it's probably fine. And
we also got Archaeo Mender, who is a 2/3 for a blue and 2, that when ETBs you return an artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. So instead of Archaeomancer, we have Archaeo Mender. It's I love this set.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
the art on that one's really good. It's like that Japanese repairing pots.
Yeah, what were you? Paints? I can't. That's the thing that's on the art you described that I'm contributing nothing to.
That is exactly what that. Yeah, you see the gold lines and all that. That's pretty dope.
It's called Kintsugi.
Say again.
Kintsugi.
Okay. Well, there we go. Thank you for actually knowing. I'm really Lily, it's the thing you said it was, but I have no idea. That was a lot to add in. We have Exquisite Blood and Blood Artist. What is Entomber Exarch? Is that a new card? Oh, that's the Black Egg.
That one was a reprint. I remember a conversation with a buddy of mine. I believe that was Champ that was talking about how amazing that card was and how it was going to have a huge impact on Standard when it was printed in New Phyrexia, and it kind of didn't. But it did get a 2 of in the pod decks. It was fine.
I mean, at the same time, though, it's hard for cards that might have shown in other Standard environments. That was a pretty high-powered Standard environment.
Yeah, there were all sorts of good stuff, and four mana duress, or I can't remember what the other mode on that thing was. Turmeric, where are you?
And I want to throw Release the Dogs, which is the ultimate dab on Morrow.
On him or by him?
Well, that's the funny thing. I don't think I actually read Morrow's article, so I can correctly say this. So Morrow, in his most recent Making Magic article, talked about his quest to get. He was in the initial meetings between dogs versus hound because they'd printed a hound and they'd printed a dog, and then they decided he got there was like a vote of 3-2 where hound felt more fantasy, and so he was trying to make it dog for a long time, and the longer it went on, the harder it was because you have to go against how things were, and so then Adam Prozac, unknowing any of Morrow's goal to make dogs the creature type instead of hound, pitched it for hey, why don't we do a dog thing in the core set? And everyone was like, okay, yeah. But then they made a card called so on Bingo, an unset card. Mark kind of made a joke about it because the flavor text was there was a farmer had a hound, and then this is release the dogs instead of release the hounds.
That kind of feels like he was a little bit bitter on that one.
So okay, so here's the thought: when were these in development at the same time? Was this originally released the dogs, but it was created 411 hounds?
God, I hope so. God, that feels like just such a dagger on Morrow.
Morrow's strategy for getting things changed in the long term is waiting until other people leave the company and then just changing the new people's minds.
I dig it. Maybe we'll get instant and sorcery subtypes yet.
I don't think he's pushing for that. I think that's on the list of things he wishes he could do, but that would be too much of a pain.
I think they should just pull the trigger into it.
I think that
what I really think this is some people just really wanted to print corgis on cards and have corgis do things, and they couldn't very well call corgis hounds because, I mean, they're corgis. So, people are I really want these corgis to be, wearing armor and doing cute shit. So, we need to make dog a type.
Can we take a quick moment? Morrow has often talked about one of the reasons squirrels got knocked out was because they weren't badass enough, because, Wizards went through Wizards went through a really edgy phase.
Yeah, I'm sure a bunch of edgelords that didn't see the rest of what Ron Spencer drew, because I'm telling you, if there were a rodent, it was Ron Spencer, and those were badass. So,
that's some of the
we all know the cast's official stance on Ron Spencer.
Yes, and that's also why some of those squirrel cards had one of them has the eyeball in the art, the squirrel stole somebody's eyeball. I can't think of the card.
It was borrowing. I'll give it back.
Wait,
but
so
I was just going to say, I'm just really glad Wizards is far past its edgy phase, and now we're on the people like cute, fun things, and so let's give them dogs and dog armor, which I'm not I like dogs just fine, but I know that there are many people that are the happiest because of this, and so I'm all about it.
I'd be on board with a Shiba wearing samurai armor with a spear. That sounds dope. I think I've seen that a few times before, but that just sounds like that should be a Magic card. Return to Kamigawa. I'm sure there should be news there. I hope.
Speaking of return,
Trusty Retriever is a dog wearing armor with a sword in its mouth.
We got more shrines.
We got more shrines. Yes. Oh my gosh. I did not think that we would be getting 6 shrines in the core set.
Honden shrines.
I kind of I mean, there's Legend Enchantment subtype shrine. And they care about the number of shrines you have for different reasons.
And there's a 5-color one that tutors out shrines that if you control 6 shrines, you get to trigger their abilities twice.
Yeah.
Didn't they release the Hondens on Arena in one of the historic things?
Yeah.
I feel So that sounds shit. Maybe they're trying to make that be a historic deck. That's pretty cool.
Well, and so the course they're all sanctum, I think. And that's what Honden is. Honden's the part of the temple that the manifestation of the kami resides.
Okay.
No, so yeah, I'm with you. I think they're going to try to push a historic shrine deck, which sounds awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to be tier 1, but that seems like a fun thing to try to ladder with. I used to play that in a 5-color EDH deck, and I find the shrines very enjoyable. So
it was a fun deck. That was your Reaper King one.
Epic Reaper King 2: the Scarecrow Conspiracy was what that deck was called.
And your goal was to have all 5 of the epic spells going at once.
I did it a couple times. Oh, my favorite part, I realized that the deck had achieved its goal when I had an Omniscience out, and then I cast the Tutor for the X spell tutor, and I had X was 6. So I had all this. I could play any number of cards from my hand for free. I had tutored out 7 cards. So somebody goes, "So you win the game, right?" And I go, "No." Now it starts. Epic spell, copy, pass.
Because you had to give him flash. You had to give them all flash. So you had Orrery, you had Leyline of Anticipation, so that you could actually get them all in the stack at once, because once one resolves, you can't cast any more of them.
And I also had Scroll Rack to put them back so I could use Epic Experiment to cast all the epic spells.
Right.
Sometimes it's not about winning, sometimes it's about making a point.
So that's, yeah.
But anyway, we should not return to Kamigawa.
Right of Precinct 6.
Popper now?
I'm sorry, Lily and Dave, you go at the same time.
Lily, you
Dave,
first, please.
Okay, Lily, what's up?
So this gets some stuff into Popper.
Yes, the cat of the cat from Eldraine is in Popper. Thankfully, the oven is not.
Nice. Right of Precinct 6 actually was just shared in the chat by JC.
Yeah, that's
I believe that was uncommon before, right?
Correct. That's absolutely right.
Ooh, that might be a
It's
deck.
such a good card as a common.
It was really good and limited.
That might be a deck.
I don't know. For Gatecrash, I just kept forcing Extort, and normally it's like I guess we'd take that one, but if it didn't have the word Extort on it, I wasn't interested. But like I think I played it in the Demir deck once or twice, and you just got in for lethal every now and again. They just couldn't deal with it. It's too big.
I mean, it's not quite Tarmogoyf, but
it does a nice impression.
Also, speaking of Cauldron Familiar, they did reprint like Tempting Witch and Bake into a Pie and added in some more food mechanic reprints.
Which is in a reprint.
Yeah.
So which is a new card.
Oh, it is a new card. You're right.
But she's in the art of it's the same kind of witch as the one from Eldraine that can sacrifice foods to ping people.
They did reprint. Oh, go ahead, JC.
Oh no, I was looking at the art and it seemed like it was a reprint because it like really mirrors one of the other cards.
And Bogbrew Witch did get reprinted too. So we do. I think there's two versions of the Witch's deck. Which also, can I just say that like, what a cool way to introduce people to the game, where they get to see all of this. Like, even if Bake into a Pie is not the best card, you open your Witch's deck and you have Cauldron. It's all arranged. You don't have to go hunt it out. You don't have to. Like, and then these are all feel like ideas that maybe couldn't have made it into a whole, like, back when they only made 2 dual decks, you could make a Witch dual deck. You couldn't have dedicated all your resources to that, but you can do this. And so it just feels like there's really something for everybody here. And like, oh no, go ahead. I'm just rambling about, I'm just gushing about how much I love the set.
Is this a thing that we're going to see more and more of if it's successful?
I hope so.
That they're going to keep updating, because this seems like a really good way when they make changes to creature types and stuff too. Like, a lot of these witches are now warlocks because that's the creature type for witches, but it used to be wizard or shaman for, like, years.
No, I mean, I think people have been calling for reprints constantly. And so this really feels like this year, like, mystery boosters into a master set, and even though I have qualms about the price of the master set, into a commander-centric reprint set, we have, like, 4 sets focused on reprints. And the core set is also trying to reprint a bunch of desirable stuff. Like, I know it takes Wizards some time to respond to critique and criticism, and it feels like after a long time of yelling for more reprints, we are really getting a lot more reprints.
And we don't know what's going to be in Commander Masters yet either.
Or the Commander Green reprint box. Of, Commander, we're sorry things are so expensive. Here's some staples.
Here's Sylvan Library and 14 other cards.
The Sylvan Library doubling season and 13 other cards.
There's like 10 green cards we could put on that list. Don't even pretend.
Speaking of green cards, I really like that they're reprinting Momentous Fall. I like that card. I think it's
cool.
Greater Good. That's another one that would be in there.
No, Momentous Fall, and Momentous Fall is that's like the Predator Prey deck, I think, right?
I believe so.
I think that's the list it's in.
I like the wall one.
The wall, because there's also that, like, the giant who gets gets counters equal to the toughness you control.
And then you can throw your walls at.
And then you sack a defender and throw them. It's so good.
It's pretty cool.
I got a quick story about Warmonger's Chariot.
Okay.
So the Rise of the Eldrazi pre-release. I remember I think it was first round. I built like this big brick shithouse creature, and it was going to attack for lethal the next turn. My opponent plays Guard Duty on my creature, which gives it Defender. And I had a Warmonger's Chariot on it. I just kind of looked at the Warmonger's Chariot,
for those
looked at the Guard Duty, and
For those in the audience who don't know what that does, who's definitely not me, what is Warmonger's Chariot?
It's in the jumpstart thing. It gives a equipped creature +2/+2 and can attack as though it didn't have defender.
That's incredible.
Guard duty that. All right.
Attack for lethal.
Yeah, okay, kill you. Is that good? I don't remember who it was. I think it was probably Halder. I think it was Halder. I'll check with Halder next time I talk to him to see if he remembers that. He probably doesn't. He's like, I don't fucking know every time that I've played against you. What are you, crazy? Maybe. I think I'm remarkable. I'm not, but I want to think that.
I think you're remarkable, Dave.
Hey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a district unravelable. Right.
That's fair. It's like the difference between having something like Knight of New Dominaria or White Knight. Like White Knight, that makes sense. Some fucking knight on a horse. That's.
By the way, Tam, you are not on the stream. We all are, but you were just you did not. For those of you on the live show, Tam was talking about how he likes that it's a little decoupled from some of the more intense lore, and it doesn't have the baggage of coming in, oh, it's an Eldraine or it's an Ikoria. You can go, oh, here are knights, here are goblins, and it's a little easier for someone who's not as entrenched in the magic lore to kind of get into, which I think leads into it. Just, the themes are so broad that it's easy for new players, and I really like that.
Sorry, everybody. I was talking to James, so I muted my mic. My bad.
Oh, apparently Tam had just muted his mic, and that was the technical problem there. So, does anyone have any final thoughts or things we want to talk about on Jumpstart before we move on?
I think we covered everything.
Nope. Release the dogs.
Release the dogs. I'm super excited, and I'm hoping that I can pre-order 2 boxes of this come tomorrow.
I'm gonna build that unicorn as the commander deck.
Say again, Dave?
Oh, Release the Dogs is just gonna hurt my brain too. I hope that doesn't warp a format like it's done in another card game.
Oh, that's right. That was a Hearthstone thing.
Yeah,
I remember that.
It was a Hearthstone deck. So,
Right. Where you make
like the first combo deck that just fucking ruined the format for a while until they went, all right, it does something different now.
Ban Hunter. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I haven't played Hearthstone since Arena came out. I played Hearthstone right up till Arena came out, and I stopped. Okay, so we are going to move on, and we're going to talk about Commander and how to make your Commander games more fun and maybe trick some of your Commander-hating friends into playing some Commander with you after this break. Commercial break for our sponsors. Wow. I had to mess that up. Cut it at this break, Tam. Use that part. Don't use any of what I'm saying right now. This is all ad break. Fix this in post, Tam.
Okay. While we're doing that.
This week's sponsor is Nuclear Ink Custom Tattoo and Skate Shop. At Nuclear Ink, you will find a very inclusive environment with artists that share your interest in nerd culture and fandoms alike. Nuclear Ink prides themselves in being Omaha's premier all-custom tattoo shop. So if you're looking to get a custom tattoo, please check out Nuclear Ink here in Omaha, Nebraska. A link will be in the description down below. We're also sponsored by InkedGaming.com. Are you looking to get a custom playmat? Well, then we suggest you check out InkedGaming.com. They have custom playmats, dice bags, mouse pads, and so much more. They even recently added a stitch option to their playmat and mouse pads as well. Stop those frayed edges from happening. Inked Gaming lets you play your game with your style, and if you want to get 10% off of your entire order, use the code TCG University, all caps, no spaces at checkout, and help support us by customizing your game to your style. Cards Custom Builds. Are you into cosplay, looking to get into cosplay? Do you want to show up to events dressed as your favorite character? Well, then Cards Custom Build can help. Cards Custom Build creates everything from cosplay accessories like props, trinkets, or weaponry, all the way up to full-blown costumes. Do you want to make a perfectly flowing cloth, or maybe want rigid battle armor? Cards Custom Build has you covered. The work is guaranteed to make you the talk of the con. So go over to Cards Custom Build on either Facebook or on their Etsy account. Links will be in the description down below. And make sure you mention TCG University to get 5% off your entire order. And lastly, the show is brought to you by Dex Protection. Dex Protection is on a never-ending pursuit to create the highest quality storage and protection accessories. Their design and innovation comes from die-hard gamers and collectors just like you. So they know what you want in the products that you buy. They're constantly taking in feedback from their customers, and they have no plans to stop their innovations or their drive to refine the products until they're recognized as a leader in their industry. They make terrific products, all with the avid gamer and collector in mind. So go ahead and check them out. The link will be in the description down below.
Welcome back, everybody. So we are going to be moving on to our final topic for the show, and we're going to be discussing how to get the most out of your Commander game. So this is actually something that Tam pitched before we started the show, and we really liked the idea, and so we were just discussing this, and so when I asked Tam what he meant by the most, what do you mean by getting the most out of your Commander games, Tam didn't necessarily have a great, not a specific answer. I think Tam had a great answer, but not a specific one. And Tam's answer was that is going to be more than one thing. So one player, the Timmy, might really want to be getting the most out of their game by getting to do their big Timmy thing. The spikier players might be wanting to get the most out by winning or executing a certain game plan or doing some kind of things. And the idea of the topic is we're going to talk about how to maybe find ways for everybody to get the most out of their games, or what are good ways to try to get everybody to get that hypothetical most. I don't know why I put it like that, but to get the most out of their games, and maybe kind of lure in some of those people who Commander isn't as appealing, or maybe tried it once and haven't tried it recently, or haven't played often. So as Dave raises his hand, so. Yeah.
That's mainly. I think I'm the only one on here that does not like Commander, for that matter. I'm not a huge fan. I don't think I played it in 7 years at least. Not counting Brawl on the arena, because sometimes it's value.
Yeah, and 1v1 Brawl, I would say, is pretty different than the traditional multiplayer Commander.
Oh, certainly.
Very different.
Because from my perspective, and one of my biggest problems with that is it always feels like winning the game is a faux pas. Like, when playing competitive Magic, it's very clear what your goal is. You want to close out the game as quick as possible, and you want to win. In EDH, it's not so much, or Commander, sorry, the preferred nomenclature. It's not so much that. Like Lily was saying, hanging out, having a drink with your buddy. You know, you did say that, right?
Yes, we had to come back to being. It was in the commercial break.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I thought we weren't. I was talking like we weren't. So.
Well, I was paying attention. That's something along those lines.
You should. I'm very cute.
Yeah, like Lily raised an excellent point. Like you're hanging out, not to steal your thunder, but you're hanging out with your friends. You're having a good old time. You're playing some games. It's not competitive. It's very laid back. Which there's definitely a certain part to that. Normally, whenever I want something that's less competitive and more like toned down, it's more like testing. Like that's something we used to do a lot back in the old days, where we'd go to Denny's or IHOP and we'd just chain smoke when that was still legal inside, drink a bunch of eat Grand Slam. It's hard sell anyway, but the
year was 1942. We just come out of the Great One.
Back in the old days of 2008, when you could still smoke in Papillion and La Vista. But anyway, we would play like back-to-back games of what decks we were currently playing in Standard, or decks that we'd want to build for Standard, and we'd like figure out the ins and outs, and it was a lot more casual. It's like, no, you screwed up because you should have done this. Because I was representing this, you shouldn't have fallen for that trick, or I think it would have been better to do this line, or I didn't see that line that you did. That was real good. It was a lot more casual depending on who you were playing against. Whereas I've played in a lot of Commander groups that people get really bent out of shape when you're like, all right, cool, I'll play Godo. Well, I don't want to see what your Godo is going to do. Like that doesn't happen often, but it's happened enough that it's kind of like, or like people are like, oh, that guy has a reputation for being good at this game, so we gotta pile on him. We gotta make sure that didn't happen terribly often.
Right in my entire mood.
But okay, I think you bring up some really good points, and I think these are definitely kind of things we want to focus in on and talk about. So Lily, since kind of what you were saying was in the before we come back to being live. Do you want to talk about? So, what do you like about Commander?
So I like to hang out with people. I like the push and pull of the game. I like it when the game has a really good story. I don't like being picked on when I'm already behind, and it makes me really mad and tilty. But I do like the chill, like, hey, let's hang out and play. Like, it's okay to end the game because that means you can play another game again after. But I like that more. Let's all hang out and have dinner on the side and have drinks not on the table, mind you. You just hang out for the evening, listen to music, and just, play some cards. Like, it's very chill. It's very, I don't know, it reminds me of Magic when I was in high school.
Back crammed a card table into my bedroom with a couple other friends and having my mom order us pizza.
Oh my gosh, or shit. Like, I used to stay after school until like 5:30, 6 o'clock playing Magic with people. We do like 4, 5, 6 person games, and it was a slog, but there was this particular, like, none of us were especially good. There was a lot of stuff going on. There was politicking, there was like reputations, but it was all this very, like, I don't know, it feels like this very, Commander reminds me of the reason I started playing Magic.
Okay. So that's kind of, you're getting the most out of it is having an environment where you can have that sort of thing.
You make a weird ass deck that does a thing that nobody thinks needs to be done.
Okay.
I mean,
Jace, go ahead, Jace. I was actually just about to pivot over to you.
Oh yeah, no, I think Dave brings up an excellent point though, because like a lot of, and I've been very a sporadic Magic player like over the years, as you all know, and honestly, I've played pretty much about as much Standard as Commander, maybe a bit more Standard than Commander, and I think when I'm playing each of those things, it does kind of feel different because like Standard feels very competitive and very clean and very focused and very calculated, and Commander does feel kind of like either you're kind of a new player and you're not that good at it. So I guess it's easier to say it like this: Commander is the most fun when everyone's playing at a similar kind of level or goal or intent. So if everyone at that table is playing to have fun or playing to just like hang out with their friends and stuff like that, then you have the new players trying to build something quote unquote good, and the older, more experienced players building something that's quote unquote weird and fun. And then those people are all playing because everyone's just trying to have fun, and it ends up all being about the same kind of skill level because the older players are playing weird stuff. The problem with Commander comes in when you do have a mixed group of players, maybe people you don't play with very often, and someone comes in and they're what they want out of the night, what they're looking for in playing Commander is a different thing than what everyone's there for. So if you have 3 people there just to have fun, screw around, play weird decks, and one person that's there to kick everyone's ass, it becomes a weird thing.
Okay. And I think that's disagree with Rule 0. And Rule 0 being you talk before the game starts. If you're playing with a new group, is you have a discussion about power level, and it's tricky. And because there's kind of this idea of when you have a big collection or the resources, you build towards 70%, or I've heard between 70 and 80%, or 75, maybe it's 75. You build towards the 75% of you don't go as all out as you can, and I generally agree with that. And I think the communication aspect's important. And I actually recently read something on Reddit that has kind of moved me, kind of adapted. I wouldn't say changed, but has adapted my view on it. And this person was saying
that in the show a lot.
Say again?
Heard relevant now. Keep going. Sorry.
So, then that thing being, I'm trying to think. It was on. I just quote some rando off Reddit with no context and no citation. But the idea is, if you bring your control-y stacks deck to the table every time and everyone's miserable and that's the only thing you play, you're being a jerk. But if the rest of the table never ever lets you play the fun deck, the deck that is really important to you, where you really like to do what you get to do, they're being the jerk. So I think it's harder for players, particularly when you have one deck. It's like, I've literally been playing Commander with somebody in my house who has one deck. I mean, like, we would happily loan him some decks, and he's actually playing with my cards, but we built him a deck. He likes the deck. He's playing with that deck. So when you're playing with a group of people with a lot of cards, I know which I know roughly where my decks fall. And I actually recently kind of had a streak where I couldn't stop winning. I won every game in a night, and that is not my goal in life. So I went and built 5-color Kenrith Night Tribal, and it's not great. It's got some strong cards in it. It has some interactions that can get going really good. I do have a Fires of Invention and a Wilderness Reclamation. I did have them both out at the same time, and it was awesome. So it still has a lot of stuff that excites me, but the deck doesn't. I don't think the deck has won yet. I think it can, but it is absolutely on the 55% of how I could have built that deck. Then over here I have Yawgmoth. Yawgmoth does a lot. Yawgmoth is really good. I saw they printed Yawgmoth. He's my favorite character in the game. I was building that deck, and I didn't want to build a bad one. So I put the guards that are good with Yawgmoth in Yawgmoth. So that's my, okay, guys, sometimes it's like, ooh, it's 10:30. Let's play one more game. I'm going to go get Yawgmoth, and generally, Ray will go grab Slivers. We'll grab decks that are a bit higher tuned. And so I think I think it's important to talk to people to try. I mean, and if you're going to play a lot and you have a play group, I think trying to adapt a spread of decks is a good idea. And I think there's a willingness to know that sometimes somebody might be playing something a little bit higher powered, and that person shouldn't feel bad if they get a little dogpiled, and the table shouldn't feel bad if they get taken out. Because sometimes, I mean, your goal you probably shouldn't be winning more than 25% of the games. You're playing with 4 people. Now, you can't live in the perfect world where everybody always gets to win. Because it's a game and it's not about I don't also say oh, so-and-so hasn't won a game in a long time, so let's king make them. But if you're always losing, maybe there's some changes you need to make. The conversation needs to happen. Maybe maybe some deck changes need to happen. And if you're always winning, you need to look at what you're doing and maybe tune things down, or be willing to say, here's my good deck. I don't want to make Yawgmoth worse, but I'm going to make another deck so that I can play the one I'm thrilled about sometimes, and I can play something that maybe lets everybody else have a little more play sometimes.
So I have a few thoughts on that too, kind of in that vein. So I generally build my deck strong. I make a point of building the best version of a particular deck that I want to make, but I generally am pretty restrictive about what I'll allow myself to put in it. However, even though I build generally pretty powerful decks, I rarely win. And that's fine. I usually am able to do what I'm going to do, and then I'll be stopped, which is fine. And 9 out of 10 times, I'm totally fine not winning because I get to play the game I want to play. And I think it's important here when you're talking about Commander. When I'm playing 1v1 Magic, when I'm playing other formats, the goal there is to win. But it is important for me to have a version of the game that I can play. Where my goal is not necessarily to win. It's just to have the thing that I made go. And a format where I get to do that, but then the other people at the table also get to do what they want to do. Because in competitive Magic, if my thing goes, I'm going to win. That's just how it works. But in a multiplayer game, my thing might go, but then there'll be enough resistance that I'm taken apart and knocked out, because fair enough.
A lot of game. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, did I cut you off?
No, and I mean that a lot of the time, it's I'll get going and then my thing is doing the thing, and then everyone piles up, and then I lose, and that's fine by me. That's totally fine, and I get what I want. They get what they want. It is a great experience for everybody.
Oh, oftentimes I would say you lose a lot because oftentimes you get scary because you like engine-y style stuff, so you'll get something going, and then eventually it'll be I'm pretty sure I have uttered this phrase a lot. Guys, Lily's getting really out of hand. I think we could get that on a plaque, and I could just point to it.
Right. Well, so I lose a lot, but I almost win a lot.
And recently, I think if for someone who is maybe more spiky oriented, I think a good thing to do is pick something you want your deck to generally do. And if the table turns to kill you, count that as a win. I referenced earlier in the show that mean thing I did where I permanently got Galta exiled. That's a mean thing to do. And if I did that every game, I'd be an asshole. That's one of my favorite things to do to people. And I know that sounds like a jerk thing, but I like being the villain. I like doing the crazy thing in Command. In that game, I got to cheat out an Emrakul. I got to use my foil Lorwyn Liliana that I got from the pre-release to put Emrakul on top, attack with the Sphinx, cast Emrakul for free, exile someone's commander, and then I got to for good. And then I got to utter the words, if I set this person's life to 10, will you kill them? And if you don't, I'm going to set your life to 10. And I did that. And then Rachel played Enter the Infinite and killed us all. And I didn't care at all because I got to do all of my supervillain things. And even though I was foiled, I still got to do it. And I got to attack with Emrakul twice.
Oh, man.
So it's just one of those... Oh, and I have some Zedru plans. I have to put Zedru back together.
I've heard some of your Zedru plans.
I'm going to turn people into my dragon thralls. It's going to be great, but that's a later topic.
Like, as someone who's been on that side of it, of having the, like, I'm going to exile your commander, but while controlling your turn thing happened to me twice by this man. It's fun because it's a puzzle that he has to solve, and I get to sit there and I'm like, you didn't build this deck as well as I did. You don't understand it like I do. I know that you can do it. Do you see how you can do it?
I love few things more than finding the optimal way to play a board state as negative as possible. To take a good board state and to drive it into the ground brings me... And that's why I like... the things I like doing in Commander are often kind of mean and cruel. I compare myself to Hedonist Bot from Futurama because combat damage isn't enough anymore. I gotta make it weird.
Bro, that's Sadist Bot.
I mean, but see, it's
okay. I'm into it.
I just love like exiling cards out of people's library, casting the Black Epic spell, and then picking up your library and saying, "What can stop me?" And then plucking each of those cards out. That's not a nice thing to do, and I don't do it every game. And I make sure I build decks that win in other ways. But I have that card in at least one of my decks because I love doing it. And so I think it's important to communicate that sometimes I'm going to try to do the villainy, really mean thing. I will play decks and do games where I don't do that, and I will make sure I will try do my best to make sure other decks get to do things, and it's not always Brett the supervillain. But I appreciate when people let me have my supervillain moment every now and then because it feels really good.
I feel like so you talking about that reminded me that like I really just want to like Polyraptor Infinite like one time. Like I have it in my dinosaur deck, like it's set up to like Polyraptor Infinite.
And I feel like spell the board, like lock the board thing, so the game ends in a draw because we have
the game ends in a draw. And the thing about that's nice about Commander is like you talked about how combat damage isn't enough. You got to make it weird. Commander is like the one game where like you can almost have your goal be like, I don't necessarily want to win. I just want to do this fucking stupid thing.
That's my whole MO.
So, Dave, I'm curious. I know you haven't played Commander in a long time. Is anything we're saying sounding appealing, or does this just sound like a bunch of wacko Commander players doing their wacko Commander player thing?
From what it sounds like, I think we're kind of on the same page for some part. At the end of the day, it's a zero-sum game. There has to be a winner, and there are going to be some number of losers. And it just so happens that normally the more fun that I'm having, the less fun that other people end up having. That's not always the case. I've played a lot of stupid combo decks and Grand Prix and online where people are like, oh, your deck's sweet. This is awesome. Can I get your list? Like, that happens every now and again, but not a whole lot. It's more often that people just get really mad they have to play against whatever the Nexus of Fate was in Modern. That guy was so mad he wanted a coloring book. I wasn't going to do that. But yeah, like, you know, it's that normally that's what I have an idea is having fun. Like in Cube Draft, I'll take smokestacks. I'll like force smokestacks because I find that fun. Like that's fun to me. Like there are other people that like playing mono white and other people like playing mono red, and that's fun for them. But normally that's normally where I have the fun, where you just have your opponent locked under and they're like, no, I could win, and sometimes they can, and that's also, you know, there's something to be said about that. But you know, if I'm going for like, let's say in some parallel reality where there was just some sort of agreement that nobody played Braids, but Braids Cabal Minion wasn't actually banned, like I'd be the person that want to like get a turn 2 Braids out there. Like that sounds like fun to me. Like, all right, play my turn 2 Braids. Go. What do you want to sacrifice? Oh, your second land drop. Dope. Like that sounds like fun to me. But I know that other people won't find that fun, and I kind of get that. So yeah, Braids is super banned as a general.
No, that's no longer a thing. Like there's no more split ban list.
But Braids is still banned.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Braids Cabal Minion's banned. Yeah. Because like it seems fairly easy that you could go turn 2 Braids and then you just start locking other players out of the game. All they need to do is just stumble on a land drop, and it's almost impossible for them to come back. Like you could definitely go turn 1 Swamp, turn 1 swamp, Soul Ring, turn 2 swamp, Braids, go, sacrifice a land, please. Probably your only land if you got to be on the play.
So, Dave?
Yes.
I have a commander deck that I've never built, but I drafted a while ago. Like, made a list for that is a group slug, the red-white Avacyn. I'm going to send it to you, and you should play commander with us.
You should play commander with us.
I mean, there are plenty of other types of effects too, but for the most part, like either they're just not good at all, or you're going to agitate you're just going to agitate the table. And like it is good if there's like a specific group of people that are willing to play with you, even though you're obviously playing this deck that is designed to infuriate other people. Like Descent into Madness, I think was a card from Avacyn Restored that had a similar type effect. That was kind of like Smokestacks, but not quite as brutal. And I really like that card.
That hit non-lands, right? Like it escalated and you kept sacking stuff, but it was non-lands?
You could exile from your hand as well.
That's right. Okay.
That's
quick interruption. I looked at Magic's ban list and it said Commander banned cards, and it looks like Braid's Cabal minion is indeed banned.
Right.
I just wanted to make sure everybody was clear.
And for good reason. I don't think the Braids should be legal because I know that there's an awful lot of feel bad playing against her. Like there was an awful lot of feel bad playing against her in Standard, so it makes sense.
Well, Dave, I invite you. If it's been a long time, I think you should come play Commander with us sometime.
And as long as you're not playing that kind of deck always.
Like as a matter of fact, I actually promised my sister I'd build her a deck, and that was during like the start of the quarantine and start of the Rona. I probably need to still build that. So any of our viewers, if any of you, I guess I'm going to go ahead and use my platform for personal gain, kind of. If any of you have a Mirari Weatherlight Duelist, the cool artwork with the little kitten, let me know. Let's work something out.
I do.
But maybe you do. Is it
I think I got that. I think I got that as a gift. I think I got the cat bundle as a gift, but
we'll chat about that one in post. But
okay.
Maybe I'll take you guys up on that offer. Maybe I'll build something on that. Like I definitely would be more comfortable playing like on Magic Online, and I know the general consensus with that is a garbage program and everybody hates it. I can't blame you. I can't blame anybody on it. It is kind of a garbage program that everyone should hate, but I've learned to love it. I had to use version 3.
Once we're past from the Rona, and I obviously, as I went on a lot about loving being a supervillain, I do enjoy having people over to my house and having a good time. So you come over, we put on records. I have a really nice record collection. You pour some whiskey or your drink of choice.
We'll order pizza.
Yeah, we'll get food. We'll have booze. We'll have records playing. And then we just have a good time. If you haven't played Commander in 7 years, come give it a try with us. And I think we can find a way to maybe drag you kicking and screaming into the best format.
But that's impossible. I can't afford power.
So there's one other thing about the whole premise. Like Commander as a whole, like I don't like this. This isn't something that I'm interested in doing. Like any sort of activity, especially activities that involve multiple different people, like that whole Rule 0 thing, expectations, making sure everybody's on the same page about what they want to get out of the experience and what they want to put into the experience. And like role play is the same kind of thing. There's lots of other adult activities that are similar. Like making sure expectations are the same is 100% like the key to having this be something that you enjoy.
Yeah, I guess you can kind of look at an EDH group. A commander group is kind of like a D&D group. You know, that tracks. Like I've definitely been the person in a group that is like not taking things seriously, and everybody else is taking things seriously, or vice versa. And I'm like, dude, quit screwing around. Like,
and I think just
you're making this less fun by doing this.
And I think there's time for and when you have a mixed group like that, sometimes in D&D you have levity, sometimes you have serious, sometimes you have the person who really, really, really wants the diplomatic intrigue part, and sometimes you have the person who just wants to roll dice because they made the sweetest build. So like, as long as there's communication and a willingness that you might not be doing your favorite thing all of the time, but as long as you can have fun having fun with your friends and know that sometimes you'll get to do your thing, then I think that's the best way to go about things.
JC, say what you were.
This reminds me a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, actually, and Pathfinder and stuff like that. Because if you're a person that plays a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and plays with a lot of different mixed groups and stuff like that, you run into people who are very much there to be power gamers. They're there to build the best characters. They're there to rules lawyer. They're there to smash everything into dust and do the awesome thing. And then you have people that build these like weird mixed classes, and I'm going to take 3 levels in Rogue, and then take 4 levels in Oracle, and then take 1 level in Wizard, because I'm weird.
The person who tried to get every pet, did everything for every additional way to get a permanent animal floating around, no matter how bad it was.
And those players tend to play a little bit more slowly, and they want to roll dice, and they want to engage in a lot of the role play. Actually, you run into this the most with people who want to role play and people who just want to roll dice. And it really comes down to expectations of if you're, just group dynamic of who's there, what are you there for, and what are your kind of tolerances with other players as far as what they want to do, and just going toward a experience that satisfies everyone. The difference is that in Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, there's a dungeon master and a DM, and is kind of their job to craft an experience to their players and know their players well enough that everyone is having fun. But it is also on the players to make sure that they're trying to engage and have fun. But in Commander, it's really kind of just a group think exercise in that, are you all there to have fun and kind of do the same thing?
No, I think that's exactly it. No, I think that's a really, really solid parallel. And because we don't have the advantage of the DM, the group has to take that responsibility. There isn't an arbiter, so we need to together be willing to communicate and find a solution or a scenario or a series of scenarios that will allow everybody to be happy and keep people from feeling just not having fun, whatever route that is, or to make sure that there's an opportunity for fun to be had by everybody eventually.
And if you're not having fun at your Commander table, speak up and tell your friends that you are not having fun.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to stop for the night too if you're upset and think it's going to be detrimental.
No, this is, you just got to be, there needs to be a willingness to communicate, and people also need to be willing to listen or just go with that. So yeah, as in all things, communication is key. If you are mad and you don't say anything and you go home and you vent to your partner or your other friends that you're mad, nothing's going to change, and you're going to just keep being mad. And so if you're not willing to talk about it, nothing's going to change. And that's not just a Commander thing, that's a life thing.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts before we wrap things up for the night and move on to the post show?
Oh. I think that's a good final thought, though. Just to reiterate, it seems like a lot of group activities are relationship based, and with all relationships, the important thing is to communicate, and communicate when you're feeling bad and when you're feeling good, and what you want out of life. And Commander is no different. So yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in.
I think I got something real quick, at least.
Sure.
For any of you that may be watching in the future on the YouTube, why don't you go ahead and comment? Let us know about your group. Is it how things how you normally do things for Commander? Give these folks some ideas to try and win me over to that format. If this format's so great, show me. Let us know how you guys do it. If there's some sort of house rules you think might be fun too, anything along those lines.
Or your stories about groups blowing up and everything ending in a fiery conflagration of hurt feelings. Those are fun stories too.
Yeah, if there's a grip of chaos and Eye of the Storm and a bunch of other stuff that is just there to agitate the shit out of people. If you've assembled all 5 pieces of Exodia at your table and made everyone just mad and leave, let us know what not to do.
This is the story how I played Commander one night, and now those people are not my friends.
Hopefully that doesn't happen too much, but if it has, we want to know about it. So, alrighty, we're going to wrap things up. We're going to move on to the post show. So if you want to join us on the post show, all you have to do is give $1 a month to Patreon, and that gives you access to the live show and the recordings of the live show with all of the weird pre, post, and commercial break content that you don't get to see.
Very weird.
And it's not all about Star Trek, I promise. So thank you all for tuning in. We will catch you next week with a new set releasing, which is very exciting. So talk to you all then. Stay safe and remember who you are.